Today's song is a 4-chord song. You only need these 4 chords, but it's a strumming challenge. There's a giant doing cartwheels. Challenge number 1 in this tutorial is modifying the Island Strum. I've got a link up here if you don't know what the Island Strum is. Second challenge is we're going to be doing it pretty darn fast. Thirdly, we're going to be doing a muted strum. And there's a tempo change in this song as well. So lots of things to work on. Let's get going. So this is the Island Strum. Down, down, up, up, down, up. We're going to take away the first up strum and just make it down, down, up, down, down, down. So the second half is the same. It's just that we're simplifying a little bit in the beginning. Here is my practice tip for this. First of all, do it. Sit back and really enjoy just strumming your ukulele, having fun with it. Relax. Make sure that you're not putting any undue tension into your ukulele playing. So just do it. That's number 1. Number 2 is record yourself. And the reason I say this is so many times I hear, particularly in jam sessions, when people start out doing a modified Island Strum, and then next thing you know, they've just morphed back into regular Island Strum. So record yourself. Make sure that you're doing the modified Island Strum. To be authentic, you're going to need a pretty zippy strum. How do you build up speed? Here's a couple tips and tricks. Number 1, make sure that you've got your ukulele so that it's positioned on a flat plane. That will really help because then you're not getting your fingers tangled up in the strings because you've got a slight angle. And I'm a huge proponent of a strap just for that reason. Number 2, lighten up. Keeping it nice and light, really playing very softly. In fact, I would recommend starting out slowly and softly and then building up speed for there. Don't worry that it's not as loud as maybe you would normally strum. The audience will hear it anyway. As you're playing very softly, the other thing to do is to make sure that you're playing efficiently. And that means that your stroke up and down is not too deep or wide, tall or whatever. Keep it limited without putting tension on it. You don't want to, and you might want to just lightly anchor your arm. So just keep it, making sure that you're just controlling your movement and keeping it within a short range. Last tip for learning to get speedier, don't sweat it. Yeah, you know, so you're not as fast as CCR. No big deal. You could do it slow. Just got home from Illinois, lock the front door, oh boy. Make it your own. If you want to go slow, fine, and use time as your friend in order to build up speed gradually without tension. I lied. I have another tip. Practice daily. Think of it as a pathway. Cross a lawn, through woods. If you go through it every day, it gets better. Vegetation wears down. But if you don't go through it every day, the weeds start growing up and vegetation starts filling back in. Well, that's kind of like the pathways that we're creating with our neural network between our brain and our body. And so if you use that path every day, it will get better. Trust me on this one. So short little segments are just fine. Just make sure that you have a chance to pick it up and practice some of these problems or challenges or whatever you'd like to get better at every day. Another strumming suggestion for more musicality. I put it in the chord chart. And chord charts. I've got links down below for the chord charts. All my patrons on my wonderful, fabulous Patreon community where we work together on charity projects and I get other rewards. Anyway, you have access, the links down there to the chord chart. For simply $1 a month, you can have that access. $3 a month, and the New to Uke guide is available to you as well. Anyway, chord chart. Changing up the strum with a purpose so that the music is more musical. The first two lines of the bridge, the lyrics are repeated, so that's a perfect opportunity to make the strumming a little bit more active. So go back to the island strum like this. So you're going, tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? Wondrous apparition. You see how then I went back into the down, down, taking out that other up strum. So that makes it more musical. Play around with it too, because when I perform this, I would frequently take the end of a phrase and I would throw in more activity in my strumming there too, because it's propelling it into the next thing, and generally you're resting a little bit with your lyrics. So that's my musicality suggestion. Switch up your strums. First of all, it'll make your mind more flexible and make your technique more flexible and give you all sorts of alternatives. Now, there's an iconic strum pattern that they use in the original recording. It's muted strings. So it's a great percussion sound, gives you more flavor in your playing. If you've never tried it, just one of the things that people do is they press down too hard, then they wonder why it sounds weird. Well, because you're actually getting pitches coming out. So you must rest your fingers so lightly. So they just are muted. Now you've got to go pretty quickly from those muted strings to a full-on strum of the C. So I've got a tip for that too. What you can do is you can use your ring finger, just touching that C ever so lightly, and then rest your two fingers on the other. And so then all you have to do is apply a little pressure and lift those fingers up, and then you've got your C. So once again, just resting lightly, placing those down. Not too many rock and roll songs do this. There's a tempo change in this song if you're sticking to the authenticity of the original CCR. Last two lines of the last verse get substantially slower. Not a problem if you're doing it as a solo player. You follow your lists and do whatever. If you're doing this with a jam group, and I hope you are, I hope you bring this to a jam group, designate a leader. So being a good leader, you might put some body English along with it, something so that people are looking at you like a conductor and cueing in, and you can do some bending the knees, bobbing of the head, something like that. So it would look like this. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Bother me tomorrow. Today I've had no sorrow. Keep it single down strums as you speed up. Do, 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 looking out my back door. Do, 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 looking out my back door. See my shirt? Do you see what's wrong with my shirt? Leave me something in the comment below. Do you see that? I should have sent it back. Anyway. Hey, this song says, listening to Buck Owens, which is something that I did as a kid on a TV show. That's something else you can leave in the comments. What was that TV show? And then, of course, say that you're as old as dirt or maybe older like me. Okay, let's do the play along. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Statue wearing high heels. a ride on the flying spoon. Do-do. Wondrous aspiration provided by magician. Do-do-do. Looking out my back door. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? Do-do. Bother me tomorrow. Today I find no sorrow. Do-do-do. Looking out my back door. Forward trouble, Illinois. Lock the front door, oh boy. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Bother me tomorrow. Today I'm on no sorrow. Do-do-do. Looking out my back door. Do-do-do. Looking out my back door. Let me know how it goes. Give me a fist bump. Did you get all the way through it? Let me know. All right. Till next time.